Hey guys. So today we're going to be talking about how to score with a goalie in mind. Everybody's had that instance where they meet a girl and unfortunately there's a goalie in the way. I'm not advocating to be a homewrecker. All I'm really saying is it worth it? Is the woman that you're doing this for worth it? Or on the opposite situation, have you ran into that situation and then had to walk away? For me, unfortunately, I learned this the hard way in high school, where I was that guy who just was like, oh, there's a goalie, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just gonna go for it. Like I play soccer all the time. You know what I mean? So the
Going
thing is
paleo.
yeah, so really the approach, honestly, is to be persistent. And that's I guess one of the shittiest things to say, but the thing is I've always found it weird, at least if you're in a relationship, that you decide to talk to somebody of the other gender, especially if you don't know them. It's one thing to be friendly and it's like, oh, you met this person with a group of friends, that's one thing. But then it's like if you're personally doing this already, there's a bit of a nugget there that you can grab and hold on to. That's all I'm gonna say. But basically, you just gotta be like, hey, what's up? Blah blah blah. And you just gotta be like, what you doing? I'm not saying jump into being sexual because most girls or maybe guys will reject you at the beginning if you go too far off the gates. But if you're just very subtle, if you're very just you play the thing is if you're making sex jokes and they continue with it, then it's game. If be if you send her a sexual meme and then you give her a wink or something like that, and then it's you get back the same energy, there's a nugget there. That's all I'm gonna say. You got to find these and go after the soul.
All for me, I'm just gonna say, it's never alright to pursue
Oh, it's
someone
not.
else
I learned my
has.
lesson.
And personally, guys and ladies out there, whoever's listening to this show, whoever will listen to the show, please be considerate of others. I know for some people it's just like, well, I want this thing. I don't care who's my way. But how would it feel if you had something that you really cherished and cared about, and somebody else is like, well, I don't care about your feelings. I want that. You know. So I'm just gonna
See,
say
here's the
this.
thing. See, I'm playing devil's advocate because for one, I did it before, but it's at a certain point you grow up, you know, and I think that's important too, is to realize that. The thing is I give this advice not necessarily to encourage people, but just to realize these are some telltale signs. It works on both ends. You
Yeah.
now that you've heard me say, you could be like, oh, that's why that happened, that kind of thing. But all I'm really trying to say is think about it. If you do that and you're successful, what kind of value does that relationship have?
Yeah.
Just really think about it in that regard.
It's
And when you see it like that, you know, it's what's to say that same person wouldn't do the same thing to you because
Same
equally
thing to
deserve
you.
that.
yeah.
In a sense you deserve that. And the one relationship that I really did that with, it by far was the worst relationship I ever had. And the thing is, it was just it just didn't work out in the end. But it's it was constant bickering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was I sat there and evaluated it, and I was like, yeah, this was definitely not worth it. And everybody says the chase is better than the catch, and I definitely agree. It's I don't know, I think the reason a lot of people do it is because they get off and it's wrong kind of sense, or oh, it feels spontaneous, whatever. But it's really not that worth it because once you've done it, you're eh, I don't really feel great about myself. But I mean, that's kind of the thing. But enough about my shitty old past methods of being a fuckboy. What about you guys?
Well, I was going to continue on that. This actually happened to me, my ex girlfriend, and that her ex boyfriend was kind of doing what you were saying, Benny. I mean,
Hmm.
he was still messing around with somebody he knew was already taken. And unfortunately, or good for me, I had to end things where they're at because I didn't feel like dealing with that mess anymore. But yeah, I'm just gonna say, listen, you know, if that is you, and if you do end up getting that girl who or that guy or whoever it was, that person that you wanted, and you guys were together, just know easy come, easy go. Because eventually that relationship is gonna end kind of like that, where either you are gonna find somebody else and you're gonna get bored of that person, or they're gonna find somebody else and they're gonna get bored of your behind. So just remember that, all right? Don't get shocked. Don't be surprised
Yeah,
when
and don't be upset either because you caused this on yourself.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's like the learning lesson. I think anybody who does it, and I certainly learned the lesson. Like it's just not worth it.
yeah,
Like I say it because like I think it's important. Like don't get me wrong. Like there is something about it egotistically that you're like, oh yeah, I did that. But like if that's what you're basing your life on, you need to kind of reimagine or reevaluate what you're doing.
mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just like don't be shocked and surprised when something bad happens. You browse on yourself. Hopefully you learn the lesson, saying, "Wow, I'm gonna find somebody who genuinely cares about me, who isn't confused about what they want, what they don't want, because that's what you need to do, especially as times are changing. Understand. Having different partners is a thing nowadays. I'm not. Hey, go ahead, do you, my man. But there's no. Hey, some of those partners can leave you. Some of those partners you can get new partners. But hey, just be mindful what happens. I think Iverson had a good story he wants to share real quick. Iverson.
Oh, yeah. So one thing you got to realize is that usually the average girl has more than one guy trying to come after them. Usually, when I say more than one guy, that means probably more than 10. I mean, that's just how it is. It's just, yeah. But no,
More
I'm
than
telling
10.
you, man, this is a real
More
thing,
than
man.
one guy, probably more than 100.
Hey, probably. But here's the thing, like, and this is the crazy part. I actually heard some YouTube video. When a girl breaks up with you, there's over a 90% chance she has that next guy lined up.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's honestly how it is, man. Like you just got to be ready for it. I mean, we're all humans, and we do even like for some people that are in relationships, like you'll see someone else and you'll be like, oh man, that girl's attractive, and then like she'll come up to you. I guess we're talking about a guy, and like you sometimes you may slip up and you may be willing to break up to get with this person. That's just how we are. I mean, we always try to work up as humans. We try to work up to whatever we see is better. We're trying to like move up that totem pole kind of. But no, I just remember like I've heard how girls, and this actually happened to me before, like girls will, I mean, even in extreme cases, they'll keep their boyfriends a secret. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they won't tell anybody about it. And the reason could be that, hey, you don't know. I mean, it could be that they are interested in the guy you're talking to, or they just don't feel
Leon County.
talking about it. Yeah. So like, it's just.
As a callback we once did a couple of shows back, we know nothing about this. All right.
I'm trying to watch what I say over here. I'm trying to watch what I say, but you got it. I'm telling you, like they line them up. They line them up like a line at the DMV. They line them up. I'm telling you. So you got to be ready when it's your turn. You got to be ready.
It's your time to shine, King.
Turn. Yeah.
Like, listen, go back on what you're saying, man. I'm not gonna lie, but listen, there are a lot of guys out there, man. Like, I mean, Amog, you and I made a fake Tinder. You saw how quick it was for a girl to get some hits, man. Like, you see how,
dude.
Listen,
not gonna lie, 100 people in 8 minutes. That's a fuckload of people liking your profile. I mean, ladies, I understand. Like, look, I get it that you're like. I mean, I remember I was talking to my girl, and this is when I was dating, and I remember I was like, yeah, dude, I totally flirted with this girl at the bus stop. Or rather, this girl flirted with me when I was at the bus stop, and my girl was like, oh, so she's like, oh, you're getting arrogant now, let's talk statistics. The guy, I was like, she got, the moment she walked out of my apartment, the guy next door started flirting with her.
What do you say?
I was like,
what did you say?
I don't know. Apparently, he just asked her for her phone number, and he's like, "Hey, I see you here a lot of times." He's like, "Do you stay here?" She's like, "No, my boyfriend stays here." And like, he just opened the door and he just went inside, no questions asked. I was like, "Yeah, that's."
Wait,
I was like, "Yeah," and then
Remember-
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I mean, so then of course, like, yeah, I spanked her ass and I was like, "Yeah, go make me a sandwich." No, I didn't. Obviously not. I didn't do that. I was just,
But it's
yeah,
not
but
her
like, you know,
fault.
the thing. Yeah, it's not her fault. Like, it's that's the thing. Like women end up getting more attention for obvious reasons from guys,
Yeah.
and now women from, from both ends of the spectrum, and they're okay with it. Like, they learn to deal with it. um Guys, on the other hand, when one girl genuinely gives us a modicum of attention, we just end up like losing our fucking shit, and we just like going we just go around celebrating, and we don't realize this. But that's not the point of the topic. The point of the topic
Yeah.
is
I mean,
that
I wanted to interject about your story about the attention thing, which is
but yeah,
like,
go
I
on with.
remember one time, like me and a group of friends, like we went to Gator Nights, and my girlfriend was visiting me, and like they had bumper cars out, and so like it was like I think they could only have 5 bumper cars, so it was like 2 of my friends, and then me and my girlfriend wanted to be in separate carts so we could start hitting each other with the carts. Uh, and like then there was like this random dude. This random dude, he kept trying to hit my girl's cart like each time, and like he was like totally like blocking the way of like trying just me and her trying to do our own thing. So like every time I would try to cause like a near car accident like next to the nigga, and then like like I would get him a few times, but like he just kind of ruined it. But anyways, we finish, and then the dude like approaches my girlfriend, and he's like, "Hey, my name is so so," and then I was like, "Hey, my
That's good.
name is Goodbye," and then he just walked off.
No, man. Listen.
Hey, really quick, I'm gonna say
Go
this.
on.
I'll let you get it back.
Go.
All I gotta say is like when the coach calls you into the game, you gotta be dressed up. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
you gotta have you gotta have your helmet on. You gotta have your cleats on. You gotta have your jersey. Gotta make sure you be looking nice. But I'm not gonna lie, man. Listen, and especially like girls have a lot of options. I'm not gonna lie. Like Mo, you have a Tinder. Iverson, you had a Tinder. Benny, you had a Tinder. When you and Iverson made that Tinder, when you first made your own personal Tinder, did you get that many hits on your first day, let alone the first hour?
Absolutely not.
No, dude.
No, but the thing
Absolutely
is,
not, dude.
well, but what's funny about it though, like what makes me really think about it though, is like with the amount of competition that we witnessed with them two making their high school fantasy. The thing is like I'm honestly like I feel better that I got so many responses. Like like it makes me feel better because I'm like, what did I do special? Like because it's like if they have that many options, like you might as well just give up at the end of it. Like because it's like that's what a lot of people say. It's like like online dating is like stupid, not because like it's online or anything, but just because it's like you're literally like the last option in a lot of people's like arsenal, or at least because like that's the thing. Like if we just witnessed it with them making that case study, of like. Like, and it's just like if you get like pretty good responses and matches, like, cause like I think I got like maybe like 10 matches a week, like like it wasn't really that hard, and like the thing is my profile is pretty bare, but like the thing is like it's just like interesting, like if those are all the options, it's like, well, like don't beat yourself too hard, then knowing that that's the competition that you're having with a bunch of people online.
No, and that's the thing. Like,
speaking from like an experience of this, I did try my luck with someone who had a goalkeeper pretty much defending his territory, and I remember we met at a party, and we were talking, and I knew that she had a boyfriend, but I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go for it. So we started talking, and then she goes, yeah, so me and my boyfriend. I was like, hold up, so you have a boyfriend? She's like, yeah, we're but it's nothing serious. She did drop a hint that it's nothing serious. So I said, okay. So I'm like, so would you be open to having dinner? this coming weekend. She's like, she's like, oh, I don't think I made it clear enough. I have a boyfriend. I said, okay, sure. And she turns around and starts walking away, and I'm like, hey, just a minute. And she goes, yeah, what's up? So I'm like, what did you have for dinner tonight? She said something about like she had like fish or tilapia or some shit. So I'm like, what did you have for dinner last night? She's like, pasta. I'm like, the night before? She's like, eggs. She's like, where is this going? I'm like, okay, so why didn't you have pasta tonight as well? She's like, I guess you guys can go see where this is going. So I'm like, why didn't you have pasta tonight as well? She's like, I don't know. I don't end up having two meals the same time. Like it gets boring. I said, call me. I said, here's my card. Here's my number. Call me when you're bored of eating pasta. And 3 days later, guys, I get a text message from this girl. We go out on a date and we end up having fun. Look, what I'm trying to say is, I'm just trying to say that, look, guys, I'm not advocating for this. This of course it works in some cases. It doesn't work all the time. You really have to come correct. You have to be, you just gotta have that sparkling conversation going, and you have to like strike up the rapport really fast and break the touch barrier.
The important thing is pacing. Like if you had been really eager, like it would not have worked. Like the fact that you just let it go and let it marinate. That was the important part.
And you know what? We'll also say real quick, timing is what's important if you are going to do that. You need to be on the down end of that bell curve in order to strike. You're on the up end, you're not gonna get much, my friend. I'm sorry. It's gonna be like you and Benny.
Sorry.
So that's how what happened with Benny and his girl with bumper cars. But if you're on that down end of the bell curve, when the relationship is kind of on its last little gas, then you know what? Shoot a shot. But
also it's like she found out, like she also found.
Yeah, I mean, with Leon.
No, what I'm trying to say. I mean, what I was trying to say was, like, speaking of this this whole issue, what happened was she found out that I come from like. She knows that I come from money, and like she found out about like my entire background and like my entire family background and like pedigree and stuff, and she was like, oh you're rich, okay, like so she was like, I knew that she's also like, hold up, just let me play gold digger for a second, but that's not like what my point is that like I think like Brad said that at the end of the day it also matters like which end of the curve you're on. Like if you're trying to shoot your shot like right where it's at the tippy top, you're not going to get anything. So
yeah, I mean, and the one thing I was going to interject about that is that you're going for a lost cause if you try to shoot on a goalie that's been in a relationship for 2+ years. At that point, they're practically married, unless like you get like the hint of like, oh, things aren't going well. Like like just don't go for it. Like the ones who got to strike are the ones that are in the 3-month range. That's all I'm gonna say. If you
the thing is though, that's very easily and very quickly to end up in the friend zone. You start talking about the relationship. That's a very fast way. If she brings up she's in a relationship with somebody and she keeps on talking about that is a very clear indication that she's putting you in the friend zone. Now again,
it goes both ways, because sometimes like girls do that as like a hint. Like it's like, oh, like, and like that's why I'm hanging out with you right now. And I've definitely been in those situations where like it worked out in my favor. Am I proud of them? Some of them maybe, but like that's just kind of a thing. But I mean, it goes both ways. Like if it's like you just do it via over text, like that's a good way of being in the friend zone. But if you're in person, you ask like, oh, how are things with so and so, and then like you see an opportunity, you take the opportunity. But anyways, I think we've elaborated.
One more thing, actually. Sorry. Yeah, so another thing too, like going back to the topic, like how to score a goalie. It's also another thing too that girls will say, like even if they're not in a relationship, if they're not interested, they'll say they have a boyfriend. So you gotta be able to.
Yeah.
kind of
understand
that cute. But I actually have a funny story. It happened to me. It doesn't deal with that, but it's kind of dealing the same thing. So this past summer I was with my brother in Vegas, and one night we just went out in the city. We hung out, and we went to like the college part of the town. It's called I can't remember the place, but anyways, we were there, and then we go in like one of the bars, just hanging out, checking out. First time like in the bars in Vegas, and I'm walking, and some lady grabs my arm, like iron grip. Throw back to last week. I got iron grip on my arm, and she's like, "Hey, do you have a girlfriend?" And I'm like, "She got me," and I'm like,
"Yeah, Helga."
"No, I don't, but you can look the other way." I knew I wasn't gonna see her.
No, I don't. But you can.
Obviously, it was a girl I was not interested in.
No, I don't.
She looked older, and she was a little bit, yeah.
Like, back the fuck up. Okay.
Stuff,
I want. Like, hey, honey, you have a girlfriend? But no, I guess this kind of end things off. Again, guys, I want to say thank you for the subscriptions. It's been great. Thank you for the support. Please keep on subscribing. Again, our goal, end of May, 100 subscribers. And if the trend keeps on going the way it's going, there's no doubt in my mind that we'll hit that goal. So please tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your auntie, tell your uncle to subscribe. Your brothers and your sisters as well. So thank you again.
Yeah, definitely tell your sisters and tell your sisters we said hi.
Now you're going too far, bro.
Yeah, man. Call back to last episode.
Amog is like the creepy uncle of the podcast.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
hey there, young blood. Hey there,
yeah.
Young blood. Know about this.
You know, like I know that Kuwait's made you a little wild here, but we don't fuck our goats here, bro. You know, just want you to know that. Anyways, we wish you all well. You know, I hope you have a good time. This has been Any Thoughts.
Any Thoughts podcast.
Podcast, guys.
Anywhere. And you can always find us at thoughtgang65@gmail.com. That is THOTHOTGANG65@gmail.com. Mo, where can they find us on the Instagram?
You guys can find us on the gram at thoughts_podcast. That is THOUGHTS_podcast PODCAST. Ivy, where can they find us on Twitter?
Yes, and Twitter is thought THOUGHT podcast 2, no spaces, and that's our Twitter. And yeah.
Thank you guys again. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. A new kind of format we're working with. Hope you guys like it.
Go Lionel Messi on them. Score on them. Have a great day.
Man. Please don't. Be good men. Be good girls. And be good women and men. Okay? Chivalry is not dead yet.
Or don't. That's your choice, really. Pro-choice, guys. Pro-choice.
We gave you both options. You know?
Yeah, So this is Big Mo signing off.
This is Bradley Williams saying I'm outie 5,000.
This is me, expert goalkeeper, signing out.
And this is Arson Williams signing off today.
I was Williams signing off tonight, hopefully.
Oh. Too many jacks.
All right. Peace, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Bye.
Peace, y'all.